Well, this is my first recap video. It's your boy Jeff Jackman, and this is kind of a late video. Usually I'd upload, this is my first race recap upload, but I usually try and upload sooner, but don't worry, I didn't forget much about the race, but it's because there wasn't a lot to remember. Let's get into it. Well, needless to say, this was the first Martinsville race under the lights. It was a Wednesday night race. A lot of us were thinking, me as a fan, I was really hyped. I was thinking, where's that night race, kind of I'm here, what was it, 2 years ago with when Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott were going at it in that race, and that was, I honestly, that was one of the most spectacular races in the last couple of years. But this race was interesting to say the least. You start the race, and I believe, what it was, that 3 of the top 5 guys were lapped before the end of the first stage or something, during that green, it was nobody, not even, maybe 15 cars, I'd say, got the setup right, because with no practice, there were so many guys that just guessed their setups and they got it completely wrong. And like I said, the guy who's on the front row was a lap down, 50 laps into this race. I don't even, it was crazy. That's just crazy. But I do have to say, that said, I do this is no practice, but I would like to have less practice, because I feel one thing personally is that, I definitely have to say that I feel with the less practice, now I do feel, I feel the Joe Gibbs cars and maybe the Penske and Stewart Haas cars, they're just not as strong as they were before, because they haven't been able to have as much time to work on their cars and really show their where they're that's where their strengths are. And some of you guys may be well, that takes away from the sport, because that is what their strengths are. But okay, maybe it does, but when was the last time? This is one of Bubba Wallace's better tracks. Maybe he was felt more inspired tonight. But when's the last time you saw people like Bubba Wallace or I don't know, Michael McDowell, Corey LaJoie? Now he had some strategy in there, but Ryan Newman, Chris Buescher were all up there. All those guys got top 15s. When do you see those guys all getting top 15s at a non-restrictor plate track? It was, I feel it's really, there, some more goes into it because of, the people got their setups wrong, but, even if you look back in the past races, guys haven't been dominating races like they would. Harvick kind of dominated Atlanta, and Truex, I haven't got into it, but Truex kind of dominated at the end here, but, yeah, I do have to say the first 2 stages of this race, I was, on the, I was on the edge of my seat, seeing these, all the changes and, people falling out, starting on the front row and being lapped down. Now that may be crazy, and some of you guys have been oh, it's not even racing, because the guys are they can't practice, they have no setups, and look what's happening. But for me as a fan, that was exciting to see people coming, even with Joey Logano, I personally am not the biggest Joey Logano fan, but even with him kind of taking control of stage 1 and driving away from most of the people, but because he was lapping guys Denny Hamlin and Kyle Busch, I was yeah, go, because I don't want those guys dominating races. Yeah, also, I was gonna say, but then, then stage 2 with Jimmy Johnson, getting up there and taking the lead and winning a stage and not spinning out on the final lap. It's guys, we might be having a breakthrough, but seriously, Jimmy Johnson's looking pretty good. I don't know, I'm thinking he's probably I think he's something 11th or 12th in the standings. But yeah, speaking of standings, William Byron had nothing special, but a decent performance, and he needed that, because I'm pretty sure he was outside the playoffs looking in William Byron, and now he's back in, partially because a lot of guys had not very good nights. But right now that playoff bubble is looking pretty dicey. I'm pretty sure Austin Dillon fell out because he had the problems early on, and then he had to, I think he had to leave the race early because of, medical problems with all the fumes in the car. But, yeah, but you got William Byron and Eric Jones, right, the guys, on the cutoff, and I could see maybe one of the Stewart Haas cars maybe falling back, I think so. I just don't know if they're gonna really be able to keep it up for a lot, like to keep up the consistency much longer. But yeah, you got Reddick and Dylan. Who Dylan? The Dylan brothers are just. Ugh. But I mean, he's looking pretty good as of recent. But like, you got Dylan, Reddick, Bubba Wallace. What Bubba Wallace? But yeah, actually Bubba Wallace, and like John Nemechek, who, if somehow they like were able to put some like good runs together, maybe, and with some other guys experience a lot of bad luck, who knows? Maybe we could have like Ryan Newman beating out like like a replica of Ryan Newman beating out Daniel Suarez like in the playoffs last year, who like um, major equipment difference is what I was looking for. But yeah, so I guess I have to say is like but so the first two stages were good, but the final stage, okay, this is the first thing I'll say. You know what? I personally I don't have much to say about Martin Truex Jr., but one reason I don't like Martin Truex Jr. when he wins, alright, I guess besides the last Martinsville race, I don't think Martin Truex Jr. can win a race without having at least 10 car lengths between him and the guy behind him. Like, anytime Martin Truex Jr. wins, I feel like it's in dominating fashion. And not that I don't like that, it's just, you kind of like want that excitement, especially at a short track. I mean, like, it's under the lights, you're like, oh, this is gonna be some bumping and banging, and there really wasn't ever any of that. There wasn't, the only, like, spin outs are really, like, cautions where cars are, like, teams that would run outside the top 25 and 30, like, no matter what. And so it was just, like, it kind of left that, like, bittersweet ending. But, overall, if I had to, like, I'm gonna start rating races kind of, like, somewhere between, like, 0 and 10. I'm gonna give this one, I'll just give it a 5, because I think it's very average. If there had been maybe a late race caution and late race restart, not even like with like 2 to go, but like with maybe 20 to go or something, I feel like this race would have I think I would have made it a lot more like a 60 or 65, just because it would have had a lot more flair then, or 70 even, like, but, yeah, so, I do have to say though, some shout outs for today, like for this race would be, I already kind of mentioned Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace did phenomenal. A lot of these guys kind of got lucky because those guys got pin laps down and whatnot, but Bubba Wallace did really good, and he's been doing pretty good. If he would have gotten the top 10, that'd have been his third top 10 this season. Bubba Wallace 3 top 10s, 11 races into the season. Whoa! Like, nothing against Bubba Wallace, but equipment has a lot to do with it. But Michael McDowell ran up near in the top 10 for a lot of the race, top 15. He finished, I think, 14th. You got Chris Buescher, Ryan Newman, who, both had pretty good days. I think they finished, 12th and 13th. And then Corey LaJoie, he finished 18th, but, he was the one who kept everybody lapped down, so I was like, yeah. And that paint scheme with his mask on the car, okay, that's like a top 5 paint scheme with me right now. That was great. Corey LaJoie's hilarious sometimes with that. And, yeah, but it was nice to not see, 4 Joe Gibbs cars in the top 15. But, yeah, one last stat I have to say is people who hyped up Matt Kenseth. I'm not trying to be a Matt Kenseth hater, and people hate me. I am a Kyle Larson fan. I was, and I think he'll be back in the sport soon, but Matt Kenseth is just, I think especially with no practice, I guess that is one thing, another thing going against him, but he's had 7 starts, and he's still behind Kyle Larson in points, who only had 4 starts. And his only top 10 was that first race back at Darlington, which he kind of got lucky with because I think that's a historically good track for him, and there was, no cautions, and it was just as long as he didn't screw it up, he would have been, he kind of ran fine. But, yeah, this is my race recap for Martinsville 500, the spring race. And yeah, I'll be doing a prediction video for Homestead this weekend, and I'll also do a reaction and thoughts after that race. But yeah, subscribe for more. Bye.